Welcome to part 27 of the Dogs of Ancient Egypt. Let's look at another named dog on my list. This is number 204, and technically this is the third named dog that I added to the total list. But again, this was also written by another scholar in 2003, so it just never got added into all of the other articles because many of the articles were written by men. And I don't want to say that, but this woman's article was a little bit snubbed because nobody did enough for their literature review to find this article with these new names of dogs. So the image of this dog was found near the city of Balat, which is in the Dakhla Oasis. And this is way off the beaten path of the Nile River. And to be honest, I'd have to really look into my corpus, but this is probably one of the most unique places that we have an image of a dog, let alone a named dog, because I think the vast majority of stuff that I'm looking at has come from the Nile River Valley rather than an oasis. The Dakhla Oasis is one of the 7 oases in the western desert of Egypt. It was originally occupied by humans almost 11,000 years ago when the Sahara area was generally more of a savanna than a desert. And around 6,000 years ago, it became slowly drier. And the thing is, because there was an oasis, people still settled here because there was this continuous source of water as the environment around them got continuously drier to see what we see today, sometimes called a desertification or Saharanization of this area. While the modern city of Balat was founded during the Egyptian Islamic Age, this area, called Ain Asil, or the Spring of the Source, is where an Old Kingdom settlement was located. Remains of a governor's palace, houses, and workshops have been found here by archaeologists, but unfortunately a fire destroyed much of the Old Kingdom town, some of which was rebuilt in the First Intermediate period, and there is also a necropolis associated with the town called Kila el Daba, which is where we can find our dog. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to find a definitive image of what this tomb looked like from the outside or even an actual image of the tomb, but I do have this drawing here which depicts our little dog. We do know that in this area there are 10 to 11 large mud brick mastabas, and these are essentially bench-shaped tombs that were extremely common in the early Old Kingdom period. Now, these were most likely for the local governors of this oasis. These are then surrounded by much smaller graves dating to a similar period. Now, it does appear that the dog was in a mastaba, and this is called Mastaba 4, the grave of Kehentikaupei, and this dates to the 6th dynasty. So we have here the lovely dog who is sitting presumably very close to the chair of its owner, as is typical for these offering scenes. But all you can see here is essentially the dog sitting under the offering table. And I know this looks weird. It doesn't look like an offering table. But essentially this is an offering table, and all of those tall pieces are not reeds or not feathers. They are actually loaves of bread that are standing upright, if you can sort of imagine it, though they don't really look like bread in this case. But essentially the scene would usually be situated with the owner sitting in a chair over there in front of an offering table. And very hysterically, this dog appears to be eating something, and it kind of looks like a bone, which I don't actually think I have any other images of a dog eating a bone, let alone anything, in my whole corpus. I have some feeding scenes, but they're mostly about milk or like licking. I don't really have eating. So it's super, super interesting. And you can also see that there are glyphs above this dog. And so this dog's name was Medut Nefert. And this has been translated as beautiful or good word. And because each of them have the feminine T ending, which is drawn with a little bread loaf, that means that this is a female dog. So this lovely little lady is having a nice little snack with her owner, which I think is amazing.